Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we look at episode 16 or episode 4 of Bungo Stray Dogs season 2. Now, I'll say this right now, I apologize for the mic. If you kind of, it sounds probably like crap, but unfortunately that's all I can do about it. If you guys saw my Twitter, if not, I just explained to you, but I'll explain it real fast. My original mic finally busted. I've had that mic for now almost like 2 years, so it's understandable. It kind of got messed up. The cords got fucked up on it. So I have to use this one until my replacement comes here by Monday, which then I'll have back to my original mic. And I didn't feel like setting up my huge setup for my other microphone, so yeah, I'm using this one. Anyways, though, this episode came out today. So first off, I'll say thank the Otaku Fangirl. I'll put a link to her channel in the description box below. She told me that this episode came out today, otherwise I probably would have missed it. I think a lot of people are very surprised this even came out today when this is supposed to come out. I think it's Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday is supposed to come out, and it came out today, which is very interesting. I would definitely say, I don't know if today is going to be the day it's always going to release now from now on. I would say make sure you check out on Wednesdays to make sure it doesn't release on those days again, and maybe this was just like a special type thing or whatever. But this episode ended the prequel arc that had, Oda, Ango, and Dazai, and we finally start seeing some, of the beginnings of what's going to happen in the future story. We already know what was going to essentially start, how it started, but now we know exactly how it started, which is really cool. This episode was awesome, though. Overall, this was awesome. As you can see right here from the first image I'm going to be using, we have Oda packing heat. He is prepped. He is ready to go. He has 100 different clips on his thing. He's standing in the kids' room, all the kids, all the orphans. He was saying goodbye to them in his mind individually, which is really a touching and sad moment. And he goes off and starts the battle that he's going to be, he's been prepared for. Now, in the meantime, we have Ango being a mediator for both the Port Mafia and the Gifted Special Agency. And this is where we learn that the Port Mafia has been behind this the whole time. They've actually been manipulating strings and kind of manipulating things to kind of go their way. And, Dazai will later on kind of talk about that a little more, but more so here is where we start seeing that, they don't have bad relationships with one another. More so, they're at ends with each other, but they are able to sit down and talk to one another. And there is a special gift from, a few things that they kind of make they make to say, oh, you have to do this and that, if that makes sense. I apologize about it. For me, it's 11:47 in the morning. I didn't sleep very well last night. But what's funny is we have Ango saying, number one, don't kill me, which I think is very interesting. And number two, not to go after the gifted agency anymore. And what's funny is from there, we see that he gets a black envelope, which means that he's accepting the concept and all that. But there's a very specific thing about that envelope, and I'll talk about that when we get there. But nonetheless, we have Dazai and Oda meeting up for one more time, and they, Dazai is trying to tell him, hey, you're gonna get killed doing this. You can't go out there and do this. We'll go together or whatever. But Oda's not waiting. He wants to go out there, and on his way there, actually ends up running into an old friend of sorts. Not his friend, but a friend of the series, Ronpo, the detective boy over here, which I thought was very interesting. I don't know why this is thrown in there, but I mean, I guess just to kind of show the beginning of how he came to be in the group. He comes over here and he talks to Oda for a few minutes, and when he shows him his quote unquote ability, he tells him, where you're going, you're gonna die, right? And Oda's like, yeah, I know, I'm fully well aware of that. So we have Oda going in, and this is where we see him kill people. He has killed like a decent majority at this point of the image I'm showing that right now, and he's just running through this place, just shooting up everyone left and right. Now, we switch gears to Dazai talking to the Port Mafia leader, and this is where we learn officially what that black envelope was, what the kind of whole point of this whole thing was. The Port Mafia wanted a envelope that was more so a seal, showing that they are a legit company, not a company that's doing, shady operations. Being now legit and being shown by a government official that they are legit means that they could actually work in the in the world and not have any issues. And so that makes them a legit company, which is very interesting. I mean, that's something that I was like, oh, so that's what they wanted to do this whole time. They just wanted to be able to do their businesses in the public, still using their same tactics, but with they being able to get away with it, which is very interesting. Now, we also have the final battle between I always forget this guy's name. Oh shit, I forgot his name. The leader of them, And of course Oda. I'm trying. Oh, it's Guide. There we go. I couldn't remember his first. I'm sorry about that. It's Guide and Oda are facing each other down. You can see their abilities flawless, both going at each other full on. And what's interesting about this is that not Oda, excuse me, Dazai meanwhile tells the poor mafia leader, hey, listen, I want to go help him. And he goes, why are you going to do that? He even stops him using a threat, and he goes, no, I want to help him because he's the only friend I really know. And that was very interesting. I threw that in there because this was kind of. I mean, I knew most likely Oda was going to die. I think I called that very early on in the very first review of this new season that he was going to be the one to die. He was like the metaphorical saying that someone was going to die of the group. I had a feeling he would die. So this really kind of this line though cemented it. Like I knew for a fact now. Oh, you're so going to die, Oda. Oh, that sucks. But we have Oda going against Guide, and what's really kind of interesting about this is it's very Genkata. If you've ever seen a lot of those movies that are like kung fu movies with the gun action kung fu stuff, it was like that. Like they were flying around each other, shooting. At one point, both sides have like extras come in and they start killing the one another and stuff like that. It was crazy. It really was. But during this part, we learn more about Guide's true story. I mean, we already know about Oda. He wanted to be a writer. He actually met the guy who made the book series that he was reading, and that's kind of why he was inspired to become a writer. But we really finally learned about Guide, and we learned that Guide was a special agent in a war, a great war, which we don't really know exactly what great war they're talking about. But what's interesting about that though is that during that war, they were only 40 troops assigned to him, and they were up against 600 people, and they were able to defeat all 600 of those people. But at the same time, they were actually being manipulated by their bosses, their higher ups, to be the fall guys. And what happened then is that they were, then attacked and betrayed by their higher ups to now be seen as the enemy, which is why they left the battlefield in many ways, but at the same time they were still there the whole time because they just feel like they have not had the peace that they deserve or needed. So that was very interesting. I almost felt kind of bad for them because that does happen in war sometimes where people are, slightly betrayed, it seems like, but it's not done in such a grandiose way, like, don't get me wrong, but it is done where sometimes you have agents that will do stuff in war and are thought of as this and that, but the way they did it was they had to do it to kind of lessen the blows against other society, which is very interesting. Now, what we finally have here is the climax of each of them killing each other. Oda kills a Guide first, but of course Oda is gonna die because Dazai runs in, he holds him, and he's like, don't come on, you don't die. And this is where we're very, I guess we're seeing where Dazai becomes the Dazai we know from the future, where he starts telling Oda on his dying breath, tells him hey listen, I want you to go and I want you to take care of people because there's gonna be darkness around you. You're gonna have to live your, as the quote says for for this episode, excuse me. The quote was that you truly live to kind of save yourself, which I believe, by the way. That's a very true line. I'll explain that more toward the end of that, in case you guys need that. But when he tells him that, he goes, if you have to choose a side between both sides of darkness, choose the one that helps people, and to save orphans and save people that need help. And that's why the Otaka Fangirl made a good point of this with the fact that the orphan is Akutsuki from the White Tiger guy. That's him. He's an orphan. So Dazai wants to save him right there for a reason because Oda probably installed into him that concept. But we then have 2 weeks later where we have Dazai now fully recovered, it seems like, who has been underground for these 2 weeks, talking to the gifted special agency leader, and he's saying that I want to go and help people. I want a job to help people, and that is where we see at the very end, 4 years later, apparently this is where the Bungou Stray Dogs series actually begins. So that was cool. One thing I loved about this whole episode was the very last line that I talked about though was the whole you live your life to save yourself. That's a very true statement to me because it's the concept of you're gonna live your life. You're gonna feel a lot of times of darkness. You're gonna feel emotionally detached things. You're gonna have moments where you're really full of despair and you have no idea what you're gonna do. And when you help people, if you really do help people, if you really are living your life truly to do something that is accomplishment, you are saving yourself. You are making it so you keep moving forward. So even if you aren't the best person in the world, even if you only do small menial tasks, or you do something that continues your life, you are saving yourself from darkness, which I really think is a nice line to end the whole kind of this arc on. because that's what Oda essentially was. He didn't he killed people apparently before, him meeting the writer, and then stopped when he met the writer, but he stopped when he met the writer because he felt like he had something to do now. He had a goal in life, which was really cool. Overall, though, very, very solid arc. I mean, I don't know how Bungo Stray Dogs season 2 will continue from this. Like, I am very curious because I'm almost kind of afraid to see the next arc start up where it's going to be, the comical stuff that we're so used to, and in general, the kind of once in a while drama. But I'm curious. I think it'll be good. Hopefully it'll be good. I have faith in the series. I really do, because this to me is one of the better shows of the season. Anyways, guys and girls, I will talk to you later. As always, I do apologize for the bad mic. Monday will be fixed, so you'll have to put up with this for a few days, unfortunately. But hey, listen, that happens. But I will talk to you later. As always, if you do like this review, please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video. You know the whole nine. Have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.